Everyone, episode 2, Attack of the Blue Screen. We're going to try and get revenge on the blue screen. Apparently, I'm not allowed to look at ambulance on the trade market because it'll crash my game. So that's something I'll have to check out later. Although I do appreciate the recommendations from everyone there. That's definitely one of the pieces of gear I definitely want to do some toying around with. Let's see. Can I invite... I'll try and re-invite you here. Okay, so I can't do it from there. I'll have to do it from here. So that was fun. So much for the blue screens being gone. They're still alive and going strong. Let's see, what can we get the map bonus in? Already have it in all those. Having everything I have a map for there. Here we go. Spider Forest. So that was fun. Yeah, apparently I'm not allowed to look at the trade market for too long. Otherwise the blue screen says, no, not gonna happen. So I'll have to check out some amulets on my spare time. But yeah, I have actually been having more and more fun tweaking this build. It's starting to live up to more of its potential. I'd believe it after blue screening just looking at the market. I feel like one of... Oh no, I just switched them around. It's annoying when this happens. Yeah, I'll have to look into that a little later. Yeah, I got blue screen to death.
Wait! Another deal. You've won the battle, Exile, but the war raged.
I'll take another veiled mod.
They're yours. There's plenty more where that came from.
Plenty more where that came from. Sure, let's do that. I'm not gonna waste too much time deciding on which ones I want. Yep, that's the one. All right, rock on. Surprisingly enough, though, it's actually the only like the second time I blue screened while on stream. And it always happens when I'm not streaming directly off my capture card. Every time. But I didn't expect to do too long of a stream tonight, so I didn't really set up my capture card. And then the game has to make me instantly regret that decision. lot of spawns in this one. Where is everything? It's weird. Usually these are a bit more active. So many folders. What do you mean? Dino, I'm not totally sure I know what you're talking about. What do you mean by folders? Inventory. Oh, because I'm a hoarder. Oh, damn. I should have been paying attention. My bad. Yeah, dude, I'm a straight up hoarder. That's why I got so many. There's straight up no better answer for that. Just I hoard way too many items in the game. And yeah, I definitely need to work this build up to doing some Elder runs. At first I thought you meant like on YouTube. Because like I try and separate out videos into playlists. But as soon as you said that many, I'm like, I don't have that many playlists. There's no way he's talking about my YouTube. Yeah, map tab's awesome to have. Especially since the update. It's one of the things they didn't break before. Yeah, the map tab's nice just because it actually shows you like where the Elder is, where the Shaper is, where the other different masters in the game are. That's probably my favorite new feature from this league. Just will actually highlight all of them so I can see where the Shaper is. Let's see, who else will show me? Yeah, so there's where the Elder is, Shaper influenced, Shaper influenced. Find one of the masters. Usually you can see on here. Yeah, there's Nico. So if you want to grab some Delve currency, Einhar, Zana. So it's pretty convenient. RNG is terrible for me almost every night. Yikes. Thanks, man. Glad you could stop on by and check out the stream. So before we run the next one, anyone else want to jump in and come map with us? RNG, a random number generator. It's essentially like your luck in drop-based video games. Let's see. So I can run that one, get the map bonus. I think after that we'll go ahead and just run some higher tier stuff. You know what? Let's just use Norma Chance. Let's have some fun here. And it's just a blue. That's kind of what I figured would happen. Yeah, no worries, man. I try to make sure that my channel's as beginner friendly as possible. Like my videos have kind of strayed away from the more basic stuff, like kind of what they covered in the beginning, but I still try and cover that stuff when I can. I just kind of recently come to the realization that I can only really cover so many of the basics before, you get to the point where you're literally just talking builds and items and some of the more advanced theories of the game. I've been splitting my time a little bit this season, just because, like, when the lag gets super bad, I kind of look for something else to play for a little while and just keep my frustration level a little low. I actually recently picked up the Resident Evil 2 remake, so I've been trying to make some time to play that. I haven't gotten to play a whole lot of it, so I haven't gotten very far, but super solid remake. Yeah, no problem. Thanks, man. I'm glad I could help. And if there's any aspects of the game that I haven't, that have just kind of slipped by in my tutorial videos, I'm definitely, open to suggestion for things that I can cover for future videos. So that you can actually see, just make sure I'm in an area where I'm not going to get attacked here. You can actually see that when you hover over the gem. So I'll take faster attack support off of this one. So while it's in your inventory, if you hover over it, it'll actually give you a green check mark or a red X next to all of your skills that you have equipped. So the red X means it's not going to support that skill, and that green check mark means it's actually compatible. So that's the easiest way to figure it out. There's a lot of wikis and stuff online that have like comprehensive guides on it, but if you're just, essentially looking to do it on the fly, that's the easiest way. So hopefully that'll help out when you're kind of creating builds on the fly, or like you find a decent skill gem with like some quality that drops and you want to see if it's actually something that's compatible with your current setup.
My spirit is spent.
Passives. What do you mean by passives? Like your skill tree? Yeah, we'll see if we can sell that off. So knowing which passives to pick for your build is that's kind of more or less just understanding what type of skills you're trying to build. Early on, I always recommend that people check out build guides, not necessarily follow them verbatim, but just kind of basically use them more as a point of study.
Blessings.
So that way you can kind of get an idea of what other people are doing with their builds in regards to like their passives. Just because there's a lot of stuff on there. So, I mean, kind of studying from people who have actually been doing it for a while, I find to be the most helpful. The reason why I tell people to kind of not just blindly follow a build and just, you know, cut, copy, and paste someone else's, just because you're not really going to learn a whole lot that way. So a lot of it's really just being focused. You know, kind of have an idea of the main skill that you want to build around, a couple of support skills you want to build around too, and then just figure out, you know, health is something you're obviously always going to build up. Resistances are something else you're always going to want to build up. Health you can actually get through your passive tree. You can get resistances through there too, but it's not nearly as easy to get resistances through your passive tree most of the time. That's something you're more or less typically going to have on your gear. So my passive tree is usually built towards health and then matching up like damage types with the damage type that I'm currently doing. So like for this build, I'm doing purely physical damage, so I've focused a lot on can't regenerate mana. You know what? I want to run this one just to get it out of my inventory because I'm sick of looking at it. So I pretty much avoid any passives that have anything to do with like elemental damage, just because it's not going to help me out a whole lot. Oh, nice. One of my skill gems I was putting. I'll have to look into that later. So this actually, let's place regular ancestral war chief there. And then my Vol can be on the alt. Be just a second here while I kind of rearrange my skills. There we go, flesh and stone. See what sand stance right now. I actually want to be in. There we go, blood stance. And one thing that helps too, you know, I create different builds pretty much every league, but that's just from, you know, having a bit of playtime put into the game. It's not necessarily a bad idea to play the same class a couple times, use a couple of different people's build guides, really study their passive tree, study their skill gems, look at the items that they're using and how they all connect. And then after you've kind of gotten accustomed with the specific like type of build, then try to build your own. It's really difficult to kind of really explain it any better than that, unfortunately. Um, just because it's so open-ended. Nice, yeah, we'll run that after this. That looks fun. Let's run this terrible map, and then we'll run that unique map. So that unique map actually looks fun. Malformation's gonna be awful.
Boils swells on the earth, foul, malignant flesh without birth.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of this one either. And these mods are terrible. But it's what I corrupted this map, and I'm tired of looking at it, so I just want to get this map run and just be done with it. Oh man, I didn't realize you hated the map that much. Oh, I gotcha. Yeah, no problem, man. I'm happy to help. That was kind of my goal initially in like starting to make a lot of my videos and then working my way into streaming. Was just like I knew how much of a pain this game was to get into at first, so I kind of wanted to essentially just be like a life preserver for newer players who wanted to give the game a shot, but who just essentially just needed a starting point. Like I myself, like I take recommendations for people from people on like items and stuff, just because I've never been the greatest at like memorizing specific items and like their modifiers, and there's just not a memorization isn't a strong point of mine. My strong point is more or less like crunching numbers, understanding concepts, you know, the basics of the game, you know, what works, what doesn't, which I felt like was a skill set that more helped me like cater to, you know, a newer player base coming into the game. But that's one thing I'm trying to grow now, though, is just my knowledge of the different items in the game. To me, it's just the hardest part, just because there's so many of them. Ooh, I got a sextant there. Turn the overhead map off. Huh, that's cool. Didn't expect to get a gold corrupted map just now. Yeah, it always makes me happy to hear that I was able to, you know, help someone get into the game. So that's like the biggest compliment I could get. So I do really appreciate that. Oh, the map broke your game, dude. Yeah, man, no worries. No rush. I won't run the unique until you're back in.
Still sane, Exile.
Yeah, I feel ya. I blue screened at the beginning of this this stream. And that's after doing the reinstall and everything.
These worlds are becoming...
Let's see. So equilibrium's actually fine. I'm not doing temporal chains. It's like my least favorite modifier. Don't want to be cursed. Yeah, that's one thing I haven't tried out. More monster life. I think I'd rather deal with that, to be honest.
By the way, this map is particularly dangerous.
Oh, I only get one shot. And that's one thing I've kind of noticed too, because for a while, I mentioned this at the beginning of the stream, but a lot of people weren't here quite yet. I've noticed my viewer base go down quite a bit on my Path of Exile videos, and like I thought it was just me, but then like I checked out Kamal's page and like a few other like streamers' pages, and it's kind of hitting all of us right now. I feel like a lot of people are getting frustrated with the game. Yeah, the lag, the crashes, like, the game just needs a lot of optimization. They kind of, in my opinion, and this is just my theory, they increased the mob density quite a bit from Synthesis League over to Legion League. Like, they overhauled quite a bit of stuff from last league to this league. And I think adding in all the extra enemies has just made it so that the game performance is just a lot worse now. Damn, so much for that. Stupid porcupine enemies. It gets me every time. Never fails. Well, I mean, I always fail it, but... I mean, as much as I like the game, like, I don't blame people. Like, I'm not happy about it, and I don't blame anyone else who's not happy about it. Like, it's a really great game, but, you know, eventually, if you don't make improvements, like, people are gonna get frustrated and move on to the next thing, especially console gamers, because, like, there's a lot of stuff to play. Like there, I like literally lagged and stood in place for a second there, like almost a full second. And like I'm not even on tier 16 maps. Yeah, this league, it's just the changes they made were not good. I mean, I shouldn't say that. Not all the changes were bad. Like, improving melee was a much-needed change, but I don't think they should have messed with the mob density. I don't think they should have tweaked the difficulty. I think they should have strictly made their changes to make melee on par with, you know, ranged builds and just left it alone. But, unfortunately, I hate to kind of think like this, but GGG doesn't really care about console gamers when they're, you know, thinking about all this stuff, because their main priority are the PC players and making their experience better because they have a larger player base on PC. You know, I have a computer that can handle this game no problem, but I just always prefer to play things on console. It's just the way I am. I'm just a console gamer at heart. Yeah, no problem, Thomas. Thanks for the kind words. I definitely appreciate that. That's definitely my favorite comment to get, is that, you know, I helped people understand the game, because that's the one thing I wanted to do going into this, so that means a lot. Yeah, honestly, I don't know. Like, I mean, the game's been out on Xbox for well over a year now, maybe even closer to 2 years. And, like, I had no idea that, you know, the game performance was that bad. But then again, I mean, last League it wasn't as bad as it is now. Oh my god, I hate this guy so much. He's the worst boss ever. Oh, thank God. I can't believe we finished this map with those modifiers. Those modifiers suck. And I've heard the same thing from people on Xbox. The game struggles there too. Like, I don't like saying negative things about Path of Exile because I really like the game, but, you know, you can only have those rose-colored glasses on for so long before you're like, man, there's issues, and, like, they gotta fix it. Like, they're never really gonna be in trouble when it comes to, like, the game in general, because, you know, they're very well established on PC. They're very successful on PC. The game runs really well on PC. I think they just struggled with the port because they're not a very big studio, and it's just not something they've done before. Like Diablo 3, like, I play that game on my Switch. It runs well on my Switch. It's just crazy. Alright, unique map time. This one looks fun. I'm excited to run this one. Yeah, that boss is such a pain. When I saw an opening there to finally, like, finish him off, I just took it. No reservations, I just wanted that boss dead. I would actually almost argue that Diablo 3 is a better experience on console than it is on PC, just because of the dodge roll that you can do with the right stick. You can put quality on unique maps, but that's really about it. Yeah, I mean, honestly, hopefully they fix stuff, you know, by the time the next league comes around, because there's some good games coming out for PS4 here soon. There's some heavy hitters. Like, I'm hoping they fix it just because I still want to have the desire to, you know, play this game a decent amount once Borderlands 3 comes out. Because I'll be the first one to tell you, like, I'm extremely excited for Borderlands 3. That's the thing, I feel like Borderlands is going to have a lot of people's attention. And Borderlands is going to run fantastically. The reason I say that is because all of the other Borderlands games have run fantastically. Like, I know not to, like, there were a lot of people who weren't, like, super high on the pre-sequel, but, like, the pre-sequel is a perfect example of how, like, Borderlands is like pizza. Even when it's not at its best, like, it's still pizza, it's still Borderlands, it's still great, it's still better than so much other stuff out there. I'm not sure if I've ever run this map. We're building a monkey. This is interesting. Almost definitely. Like, it's hard to find anything bad to say about Borderlands 2. Yeah, I think that's the map. Got a cobalt jewel. Got a regal orb on that run. That's probably about the best thing I got there. A 6 socket, so I mean I got some more jeweler's orbs. But yeah, once Borderlands 3 comes out, I'll definitely be playing that a lot on the channel and doing some streams, and I feel like that'll be a game that's easier for people to drop in and drop out of and play too. So we'll do some big community plays for Borderlands 3, because I feel like a lot of the people who play Path of Exile still are likely going to play Borderlands 3 also. Yeah, I admittedly haven't played a lot of the different unique maps, so I'm always kind of intrigued to see what they entail. God, it's weird. I feel like it must have honestly been the last patch that made the lag even worse.
Greetings.
I actually got on a kick like that for a little while after Marvel Heroes shut down, because I'd spent money on that game, and they pretty much refused to refund anyone in North America who'd spent anything on the game. So I went on a little hiatus of buying games for a little while. Um, but then eventually stuff came out that I wanted to play, so I caved. Now I'm to the point where, like, I'll typically buy games on sale. I'll usually wait for things to get a discount.
Welcome.
Oops, wrong option. Oh, nice, get a unique.
Alive.
Like, I really wanted to play the Resident Evil 2 remaster right away, but I actually waited for a while and just recently picked it up last week, I think, off of Amazon for like $30. Like, for the most part, I'm kind of over zombie games, but at the same time, like, I've always loved Resident Evil. Resident Evil and Left 4 Dead are like the two zombie series that just always kind of keep me on board. I actually randomly played a game of Left 4 Dead earlier tonight too. It was fun. I love going back to that game. Let's see, so what do I have for... I got plenty of alchemy orbs. Rogue Exiles, Elements of Equilibrium. Monsters basically have Onslaught. Extra cold damage. Yeah, I really wish that PS4 would have ended up getting the mod support that PC has for Fallout 4. Oh, let's use these quick just for fun. That's about what I expected. Let's corrupt this map. Fair enough, didn't really change anything. Now, if someone could just mod Fallout 76 to be good, then I'd be impressed. I don't know, I haven't played that game much since launch, but I've heard it got better. But I haven't been able to bring myself to playing it again. I haven't, although I heard it's really good. And I think the developers of Original Sin 2, aren't they on board to make the next Baldur's Gate game? Pretty sure it's the same studio. But I've heard a lot of really good things about that game. Just so many games I wish I had more time to play. Like, I still haven't finished Ultimate Alliance 3 on my Switch yet. Whoa. Well, that was harsh. I haven't finished Ultimate Alliance 3 on my Switch yet, although I'm getting close. On my Switch, I typically try to, like, devote myself to finishing one game at a time, since I typically play just on the go. I didn't realize that was the boss that I ran right into. That would explain why he hit so hard. Because, like, right after I finish Ultimate Alliance 3, I'm probably going to jump into Fire Emblem 3 Houses. I was actually a little worried about Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 at first, because, like, I played through the first couple of chapters, and I thought, okay, you know, it's alright, but, like, and I wasn't as invested as I thought I'd be. But then I got a couple more acts, and I think around Act 5, I was like, okay, I'm actually legitimately really enjoying this game now. I love my Switch, and like they've actually built a really nice lineup of games at this point, especially if you're into indies, which I like supporting smaller studios. I've actually gotten to meet a decent amount of indie developers from when I was at college and studying game development. Damn. Was I not hitting anything? Indie developers are awesome. Like, they're usually like these small companies that are run by like super passionate people who just really, really care about games. One thing that's kind of cool is like we're kind of in like an indie games renaissance right now. Where like indie games are really popular, they're really successful, so you're seeing a lot more indie developers coming out of the woodworks. The lag on those monoliths is real. 16 monsters, yeah. Yeah, I mean, especially if you like games with depth. Like, I haven't personally played Fire Emblem yet on the Switch, but if it's anything like the other Fire Emblem games have been, like, there should be a lot of depth to that game. I think it actually has 3 different stories to play through, too. Alright, let's take a look and see what we've got here. I have a unique map on me. What do I have? Poor Joy's Asylum. Unidentified. Let's do it. Tier 10 is still yellow, so yeah, I don't even have to corrupt it to get the bonus. Mine's felt like it was about to freeze about 6 times now. How far down on the delve are you at this point? I still have so much delving left to do. I don't know realistically how far I'll end up getting this league in the delve. Nice. Oh my god, Octopath Traveler is amazing. I haven't even gotten to play all the way through it. I've probably only gotten like... I've probably put about 20 hours into it. It actually came out like right around the time my son was born.
My
But I
spirit
mean,
is spent.
if you're a fan of games like Chrono Trigger, like I can't recommend Octopath Traveler enough. I should honestly just do a couple of like Nintendo Switch game recommendation videos. Because like that console's kind of gotten to a point where like there's a lot of great games out for it, but there's just kind of like a lot of games out for it in general, so it's kind of hard to sift through everything that's come out and like really find the awesome stuff. But Octopath is one of the best like turn-based games I've played in a really long time. Oh my god, check out that lag. That was impressive. Wow. No worries, man. The Chrono Trigger's a bit of an older game. Octopath is a lot like, I mean, it's made by Square Enix, so I mean, they're the same guys who make the Final Fantasy games, and it plays a lot like one of the super old school, like classic Final Fantasy. Damn, I don't know what happened there. But it plays a lot like Square's old school games from like their Super Nintendo run, which is definitely a good thing. Like there's 8 characters and they all have their own like separate but intertwining stories. That sounds familiar. I don't know if I have played it though. Or like if it's just something that I've had recommended to me before. That's what I mean though, there's so many good games. Like past and present. Trying to be very careful to not die again here, because we don't have any more portals. No. That makes it. Yeah, I think I have played a little bit of that. I don't think I got very far with it. Genesis was a solid console. I was actually kind of sad when Sega stopped making consoles after the Dreamcast. Because, I mean, there were some gems on the Dreamcast, too. Wow, look at all those amulets. That's insane. See, that was the thing. Like, I remember hearing Sega when, like, the Dreamcast was out, talking about online gaming back when, like, as console gamers, we all thought that was a ridiculous concept. And now look at what we're all doing. all playing online games. Nowadays, it's weirder for you to play something that isn't online as opposed to something that is. You look at the controller, and there's some eerie similarities between the Dreamcast controller and the Xbox controller. The Dreamcast did a lot of stuff really, really well. They just did it probably about 5 to 10 years too early. Yeah, Sega was really good at bringing on third-party developers to make solid games for their consoles. And you'd be hard-pressed to find a Sega system that you can honestly say sucked, because I think they all had their positive elements to them. Yeah, I really enjoyed Sega. I was pretty sad to see them stop making consoles. I feel like as a developer, they just never really took chances. They kind of just beat Sonic like a dead horse. Just kept going with it. Yeah, I was pretty young when Chrono Trigger came out too. I've just always had an affinity for retro games. I actually built a single board computer just so I could essentially turn it into a giant retro station. Let's see if I can get DMC in here with us. But I'll probably just run a couple more maps here. For Path of Exile, I don't. I do have like this little trigger modifier I'll throw on my controller for when I'm playing shooters. What's up, DMC? So like if I play Apex or even just like casual shooters, I have these little triggers I plug into my controller so I can assign a couple buttons down below them. Although it wouldn't be a bad idea to use those triggers for this game too and assign like the D-pad buttons to it to make it easier to hit my flasks. My retro console actually has a few Sega CD games on it. I forget what it's called, the ones that I use right now. Yeah, I actually, the board I use is called an Odroid. It runs RetroPie. But I actually picked the Odroid because of the fact that it can actually run Dreamcast games, where like the Raspberry Pi I think 3 was the last gen. They just came out with the 4, but it's still really early in software development for it for them to really know how well it's going to do as an emulation device. Um, but yeah, I got an Odroid just so I could actually run Dreamcast games somewhat smoothly. Tier 14. I wonder if we can do this. Well, 4 back buttons? That's nice. You could assign the whole D-pad to it for Path of Exile. Yeah, let's give it a shot. Yeah, I might actually start making some videos with my retro console for like, I've been thinking about doing just like throwback Thursday videos instead of just straight up streams and just doing like game spotlights, like talking about the games or, you know, maybe potentially like reviewing some older games. Yeah, the one I have only has all I need, but for something like Path of Exile or just like any sort of RPG in general, it'd be nice to be able to map those buttons to the back. I don't know, you really only need 2 for shooters, just because for whatever reason there's this new trend in shooters to where like you jump all the time. Like I literally don't remember doing that with any shooters when I was younger. Like I don't remember jumping a ton when I played Halo or like Counter-Strike or Call of Duty back in the day. But now it seems like in every shooter there's a bunch of like jump and slide mechanics that you always have to use. Yeah, exactly, the bunny hop.
My spirit is spent.
Can't tell if I'm hitting or not right now. I definitely am. I think I stopped hitting. I did. Damn. Nice. So you're probably getting some map drops pretty frequently then with that bonus. I think I still have a ways to go on my Atlas bonuses. Yeah, I'm only at 68. Okay, I don't feel so bad. I'm not the only one who died in this map so far. Yeah, even at 68, like I'm starting to notice map drops more consistently. nothing wrong with running a cookie cutter build, though. I mean, my build's not too different, I'm sure, than a lot of the Cyclone builds other people are running. You can, but it really depends on how many alchemy orbs you have, because you don't want to waste your alchemy orbs on earlier tier maps. You'll want to save them for yellow and red maps. Damn. I should have moved out of the way for that. I didn't realize that was an AoE attack. Yeah, so much for that one. For this build, I actually kind of did my own thing, but from a lot of what I've seen online, like, because I was kind of curious to see what other people were running, and I realized it's not, there's some differences here and there, but for the most part, I think Cyclone's just really straightforward. Alright, so the 14 didn't go, honestly, didn't go that bad. Let's run a 13. Ooh, this one's got quality. We'll elk this one. Let's see what modifiers we get. Temporal chains, you gotta be kidding me. This is actually one of the only leagues that I haven't named my stash tabs in, and I know where everything is. I just got kind of lazy this league with naming everything. Trust me, if you saw my standard tabs, you would you'd think I was OCD. I don't think that map will be too bad. Alright, so let's go ahead. We'll run this, what did that just... I thought I grabbed a 13. Did it upgrade to a tier 14? Huh. Well, anyways, we'll run this map, and then I'm probably going to call it a night, just because I got to work early in the morning. I actually ended up staying up a little later than I expected to. Time flies when you're having fun. It's one thing I will definitely hand to Path of Exile. No matter how bad the performance gets, like, I still get sucked in and lose track of time. For the most part, I've done a decent job of like keeping my items themselves organized in tabs. Mostly because like I don't want to have to spend a couple hours when the league transitions into standard reorganizing that stuff just to merge it into my standard stash. I kind of learned that one the hard way last league. That's why this league, the only gems that drop that I actually pick up are either the drop-only gems or anything with quality on it. So that way I can just use it to get gem cutters prisms. Yeah, channeling, physical damage, life leech, impale, a few resistances, armor nodes. I'm running mine on a Pro too. I don't know if I've played Path of Exile on my standard PlayStation that I have at home. Kind of terrified too, to be honest. We can just come back to the monolith. That's actually the one thing I need to improve on this build is my weapon range. My Cyclone has a much smaller area of effect than most Cyclone builds I see. Oh, Zana's here, so we're getting a bonus
These
map.
worlds are becoming something by the way, this map is
That's weird. I wonder why that is. There doesn't seem to be much consistency on like the crashes, the blue screens, the lag. It's cool that we ended up with Harbingers on this map. Yeah, I have decent internet, but we don't have fiber where I live. I think mine it's like 200 over 10. So maybe higher upload speeds would help. It could also be the fact that most of the time when I'm streaming, I'm also going through the maps with multiple people. And this game struggles a lot when you play in a party. Yeah, exactly. And streaming's affecting my upload. We're not doing too bad on the unidentified tier 15 map. Oh crap, I did not mean to enter the Trial of Ascendancy. Just gotta turn the corner and hit X to hit my cyclone, and ended up entering the portal. Rank 4 spell damage. Get that stupid scorpion tail out of here. Nice, leveled up. Yeah, that's something I've complained about in the past, is how it's supposed to be, you know, kind of an ARPG MMO. And it kind of discourages you against actually playing in a party. You've got to be kidding me.